Hey everyone, welcome. This is an interesting opportunity on our podcast to invite a bunch of our SMEs on as we all gear up for Educause. We were all talking on Slack yesterday and thought, let's just hop on video and let people know, A, what we're excited about, what we're looking forward to, what sessions some have caught your attention, and in general, just get people some ideas on how to best prepare for Educause coming up, because there's a lot of people coming. I'll start with, as you think about it, you work with a lot of our Workday clients, but was there a session that caught your attention that you're saying, hey, either you or clients should certainly jump on?
I always gravitate towards the breaking down silos session. So there is one specifically about silos. There's one specifically about bringing more people to the table, bringing women in the organization to the table. So some of those were really interested me and looked really interesting. So I think I'm going to gravitate probably towards those. A lot of AI, but I'll gravitate towards those other ones.
I know. I'll talk to Fred about AI here in a moment. Lauren, you've been attending Educause for a while now, wearing different hats. As you wear your Beyond hat this year, what are you looking forward to, or what sessions caught your attention?
Mine, I think, is folks that in the sessions that are about using technology in advising, student services, the student experience, and hearing how those schools are using those technologies in interesting ways. Because that always helps give me some ideas for my clients, right? Of have you thought about, hey, let's talk to this school, and making those connections, because not everybody comes to Educause. And so it's great for me to know my back pocket, maybe who's using Salesforce or Slate or whatever tools out there in a great
And how
way.
are they using it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. What have they seen as benefits of it? And also lessons learned. That's the other part, right? Folks are sharing maybe what didn't work so well, or it didn't come out the way they expected. And I love to hear those stories as well.
That makes sense. JTH, you've been traveling to Educause for a long time. What pro tips do you have for the Educause traveler, either in travel strategy or hotel strategy or convention strategy? What have you learned over the years that would really help them prepare best?
It's always colder inside than you think.
Right. Well said.
I always use the vendor hall as sort of an extension of the sessions, because there are things that you can really learn about what's going on technically and what people's ideas are about where the industry is going just by talking to the vendors. You don't have to buy anything, but you can really learn a lot really quickly by taking a cup of coffee and going to the vendor hall.
It's an extension of like what I would call an office, right? Meaning most people that I know, I have started to reach out to colleagues. Hey, I'm at Educause. We're in San Antonio. Like John, I've been going to Educause for a long time. It's almost a place where people find you, right? So this year we have a booth and so forth. So it's going to be easy to find us. I think that is probably the biggest thing. It allows people to connect with us, similar to if we had an office in their city, right? And it gives us the ability to connect very quickly. And usually we just find each other. We kind of all just plant ourselves, and it's amazing how we all connect. Our current clients, past clients, future clients, they kind of convene together and have those conversations.
And actually, as a matter of fact, Matt, if we compare it, if we look at the last 2 or 3 conferences that we did, what I've seen is because in the past we would get a lot of people that would say, "What do you guys do?" Right? Now we're getting, "Hey, I was looking for you."
Yeah.
Right. So that's
we have to talk.
Right. We have to talk. I was looking for, I saw some of your podcasts, I saw some of your content, interested in how can you help me, which I think is really great. But I think, I always tell people you need to be purposeful about your networking, right? Educause is so big. There's so many sessions, so many people. Spend some time prior thinking about what you want to get out of, who do you want to meet? Who do you want to collaborate with? When I started to do that, it completely changed my conference experience.
Ask the questions that you don't want to ask on open forums or in big meetings, and talk to folks in, like Fred said, a very purposeful way, but ask all of your questions about what's happening. These folks know what's happening in the future, especially since you have a lot of technology companies. They know what their roadmap looks like. They know what the future might look like, and bring that back to your campus so you can share with folks. So.
Yeah. Nicole, since you'll be one of the people there on our side, kind of connecting people to these subject matter experts we have, what are like the top 1, 2, or 3 things that come to mind of areas you want to connect people to these experts on? Like, what
Yeah.
problems could they likely be dealing with where they should have a conversation with one of the people on the screen?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it could fall into any of the three buckets that really build the themes of this conference itself, which is the people, the process, and the technology. Kind of speaking to what we all mentioned, Liz is excited for these breaking down silo sessions. We do a lot of work with helping institutions manage their people in a way that creates that future readiness and that entrepreneurial mindset so they can really tackle the hard issues. So,
Yeah.
coming from a culture lens, that would be one of my three. If we're talking about process, I mean, you see AI all over this conference, and it's great that we have Fred in our booth because he's going to help dispel fact from fiction. What's the spin? What's really going to automate your processes? I think everyone here can speak to those future ready workflows and backwards designing. What is the outcome you want and how do we get there? Do you need all of these vendors to do that? Can you leverage what you have? And then third, technology. This is an ed tech conference, right? But it's really about purposeful technology and
Yeah.
human centered. So are you moving to a new SIS? Do you need to just optimize what you have, do more with less? I think those are the three big themes that I've been grabbing people and bringing them up to the booth and going into sessions and kind of lending that ear so that our folks can help block and tackle where we can.
Yeah. And speaking of AI, we're all expecting to see a lot of AI and a lot of technology and everyone making a lot of promises of AI. Fred, you go first, and then John can fill in any gaps on what would you advise schools who are going to hear a lot of AI talk and all these point systems and the good and bad of that?
Well, this is a very interesting Educause, right? Because this is 2 years after the release of ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
So last year, people were just struggling with thinking about, hey, well, how can I learn more? Now, in the last 12 months, we've had tons of vendors claiming they're doing AI, right? So one of the first things I would say is, look, just go in with a skeptical mind and ask some questions. When you say AI, do you really mean AI, or do you mean rule-based algorithms that we've been doing for 40 years or 50 years, rebranding, so I think that number one, I would kind of look out for that. But like Liz said, it's all about AI this year. As a matter of fact, they released a white paper, an AI landscape study, actually, in February. So Educause itself is thinking about it, right?
It's going to be intriguing. John, one of the things we're concerned about is great AI and all these point systems still doesn't all talk to each other. What are you seeing and hearing, and what are you hoping to clarify for some of our viewers?
Well, I think that Fred is right that there's a lot of AI out there that's not really AI. We saw the same thing in the cloud where people were defining cloud, but it's really just a hosted system. So, really poke on what it's actually doing, but also go in with a broader mind of what it can do for you and your students and your administrators. So much of the discussion in AI in the first year was, hey, how can students cheat with it?
Right.
Without saying, how can I really improve the experience of my staff, my students, and become more competitive with it? So broaden what it is that you want AI to do and to think about all the possibilities. I don't think we're at a point yet that the various AIs can connect and talk to each other, but it's going to happen way faster than we think. AI has
sense.
grown faster than any other technology I've seen come on the market in my years doing this.
Oh, yeah. At JTH, the number one problem that schools are going to deal with is that the traditional speed with which higher education institutions deal with change will be completely inadequate for what's coming for AI. Because it's not just that it's a potentially transformative technology. It's a transformative technology in the wild, meaning your faculty members, your very smart dean, your professors, your students, they could just start using it, right? So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any closing thoughts from Lauren and Liz before I have one last question for Matt as we wind down? Anything you're really looking forward to, or anything you want to encourage people on as they get ready?
Probably the thing I'm looking forward to is connecting with old friends and prior clients, right, that I've worked with, or in some cases over the years, folks have moved on, and those schools I would love to reconnect with the new folks at those same schools that I've worked with to see where they are in their journey now and where they're looking to go, because I think a lot of folks are looking at that next step beyond from where they are today. So that's probably one of the big things. I'd say, come by and see us. Come by and say hi.
It's a small world,
Liz?
anyways.
It is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love what JTH just said, because, can we ask ourselves the question, does AI allow us to get back to a more human-centered campus? We can do our jobs faster. We can answer questions a little bit easier. And do we then now get to have a more personal touch with our students and with our colleagues on campus? So I'm interested in kind of seeing if I can't answer that question.
No,
and
that's phenomenal.
that statement coming from JTH, who is the most human of all of us, right? So
Yes.
I think
He also gets the award for best lighting and background.
Yeah.
He
Yes,
even beats
absolutely.
Fred and me. Matt, just to close us out, we talked about the vendors who are going to be selling technology, and some of them are going to have some great stuff, and we're all excited to see it, like Fred said. But there's also going to be some of your favorite people in the world, the analysts and the consultants and the SIs there with their new pitches. Anything you want to advise people on really quickly of what to look for, what some yellow, red flags would be, and how to best take advantage of the resources that'll be there?
I love how you tee me up, right? We've seen the conversations around cloud and the promises of cloud, right? And so people took on those promises and have struggled. The promises of AI is at a much greater risk, meaning people are just saying certain things. And if you embark on it without doing the due diligence, without thinking through it, without having the right strategy, AI is not going to be as forgiving. And what I mean by that is it can actually implode a campus if you're not thinking through the right things as you go. And so all these point solutions, all these AI, one-offs, all these strategy, I'm going to put AI in, I think there has to be some thought. And so the analysts and the research firms and all that, it can't be talking points from the vendors.
The vendors,
because I think we're seeing it when we are doing it right now, right? Freddie and I went through an exercise and we said, "Oh, it's supposed to do it. It didn't do it." And
you're
so
saying when AI started to hallucinate on you when you're working on stuff,
we had to rethink that. We had to get our hands wet. Now we're much more informed, but if you don't do that and you start deploying strategy, or you just believe what the hype is, you are putting your campuses potentially at risk. And and this is not to discourage anyone to do AI. That's not what I'm saying.
No. We want them to.
I believe you should be doing AI, but don't do AI the way you did cloud.
Yeah, don't just read a report from some analyst and go, "Oh, yeah, that's the next big thing. Let's just jump on it." That would be a fatal mistake.
Adoption stats doesn't determine success. Just because people are adopting doesn't mean. And in AI, you adopt just trends and it doesn't work, you're putting yourself at a potential risk. But I would say you should use AI, because if you don't use it, you're going to be left behind very quickly. So pick the right people to put in the room to have conversations with you, right? So I look forward to that.
With all that said, everyone, as you're watching, look for Nicole. She'll be walking around with lots of friendly faces on her side to introduce you to these SMEs. These are people whose brains you should pick at Educause. Get 5 minutes with them, get lunch with them, come to one of our social events, pick their brain on almost any area of your institution you're dealing with. Chances are the people on your screen have really good answers based on deep industry experience, knowledge from today, and knowing where the puck is headed in the future. So looking forward to seeing you all there. Thanks everyone for being on with us. We'll see you all at Educause.
See you in San Antonio.
Yes, yeah.